and certainly a bit of style. He took his time to get going. He gave himself sort of a runnable 20 with Josh Buttler, and ultimately what a great start to your innings, to be batting with our best one-day batter ever in Josh Buttler to get going. But it was the way he accelerated through his innings and went into fourth and fifth gear. I think that shot was the one that surprised me the most, the sort of power down the ground over long on for a big six from back of a length. I didn't necessarily think he had that in his locker. That was a really brilliant shot, and the West Indies tried to bowl a bit wider to him towards the end, and he hit that beautifully. And any time anyone's got a reverse scoop or reverse sweep, it's incredible skill to almost predict where the bowler's going to be bowling in that area and to be able to execute it. And it makes it so difficult to bowl at. You know, if you want your long off and long on back, you bring third up, and then someone flicks you over there, it really leaves you nowhere to go.
And what about Will Jacks? Because that is certainly a different role from him, and not necessarily one that you would immediately look at him and say, well, he suits that, because he can manipulate the field with deft touches. More of a stand tall, strong, and hit it. But my goodness, he hit it.
Yeah, I love this innings from Will Jacks. First time he's ever batted at 7 in a one-dayer. So to do that at an international level, and this is what Harry Brook and Brendan McCullum are looking for. They want a finisher. I know this is setting up the innings, but he's coming for the last 9 overs. Owen Morgan and I were chatting on air actually about how we need to give him time. Now that's a position
to learn the role.
To learn the role. Go and get 30, 40, 50 ODI caps underneath your belt, and really sort of, you know, learn different positions. You can be 30 for 5, build an innings and get England back into the game. You can finish games. Can you be that player? Can Will Jacks be that player at number 7 who can pick the stumps up at the end of the game, shake hands with the opposition, 40 not out and go, I've just got my team over the line? And he's shown the talent that he's got. He can do that.
What about the start then? Say it was 64 within 8 overs between the opening partnership, the new opening partnership, Ben Duckett and Jamie Smith. Again, many didn't see Jamie Smith opening the batting, but actually he's done a fantastic job today. And his partner, Ben Duckett, just seems to be doing it in all formats.
Yeah, they just played, didn't they? 64 off 42. They didn't have to force the pace. They got a bit of width from the West Indies bowlers with the new ball, which is what you're after as an opening batter. You know, as an opening bowler, your number one job is to go over the top of the stumps and make it difficult in this format, because you know you're going to go to the boundaries at times. But they gave a few too many freebies, and Smith and Duckett were so quick and sharp onto it. And I love the left-right hand fit as well. Again, it's a bit like the Test match side with Crawley, isn't it? Jamie Smith's a bit taller, hits the ball on the up, and Duckett can manipulate the ball in different ways. So it's a really positive start. You know, I don't think, again, we're not looking at Jamie Smith setting the house alight, you know, in the first 3 or 4 games. It's a long-term game. We want 15, 20, maybe more ODIs out of him to see him finding rhythm with that partnership.
Is this a 400 pitch, or if you hold your length for long enough, is there something for you as a bowler?
I don't think it is a 400 pitch. I think if you bowl a straight line with some cross seamers, wobble seam, hit the pitch as hard as you can. You saw Azari Joseph, I thought, was their standout bowler. I know he didn't get the wickets that Seals got, but he's tall, he's fast, he threatened particularly Bethel when he came in. So I think England are way ahead of the game. You know, it's 400 runs. It's going to be a really, really, really difficult chase, and I think they were given a few of those runs.
One thing we should highlight from West Indies' performance is the 2 catches of Roston Chase. Spectacular. We saw Harry Brook the other day in the Zimbabwe Test take a screamer in the slip, one in the gully and then one running down towards the pavilion here.
Yeah, 2 really different catches, and 2 shows the practice that you put in as a professional player and the different styles of practice. I think the first one at point was the best one. Ben Duckett looking to play the ball through mid-wicket, so you don't get a great visual on that, and it flies at you, and to be able to throw a hand out and grab it shows a lot of great skill. You know, that looks quick on the replay, but let me tell you, when you're fielding at point and that ball flies at you off the outside edge, it's pretty incredible. And this one, they're quite difficult to practice these. You do a lot of high catches in the morning at training, but very difficult to practice full stretch ones like you do there. But to keep your head still while you're running, it's really good skill. And I think those ones over your head while you're running are some of the hardest catches in the game. So to have done that was impressive.
West Indies have got to go route 1 here, haven't they? 401 in 50 overs.
they need to make use of the first 10. England will want 90 for one. I think the West Indies will need to be near and up there. You've got someone in Shea Hope in the middle order who's a wonderful player, but you need to give him a proper platform to go. So they can't be 30 for 3.
No.
So they do need a really good start, positive start, and they'll need England to miss their length early.
What do you want from England? What do you want to see from this bowling unit? You touched on it at the start of the day.
Movement. Harry Brooks talks about wanting a bowling attack that can adapt and adjust to conditions and take wickets in all conditions. It's a hell of a scoreboard to bowl at. You've got scoreboard pressure immediately, but they'll want to move the ball, they'll want to threaten the stumps, use the bouncer aggressively. I don't think we'll find out loads and loads from this England bowling attack in this game because they're so ahead of the game, but they'll certainly want an improvement than what we've seen over the last 9 months with what they've managed to deliver. So real opportunity to go and get the West Indies 30 for 3 and put a lot of pressure on them with the new ball.
Adil Rashid's playing in his 150th ODI. He could be that little trump card. Just they get him a couple down and then Rashid goes through his variations, take the pace off, and he's got runs to tempt him with.
Yeah, so skillful. He can adjust. He can be attacking with his field. He can adapt with his field. Maybe even have mid-off up a lot of the time and tempt the West Indies bowlers to go over the top. So there's loads of really good options to do that. He's a high-quality performer, and that's why he's played 150 times in ODI cricket.
Well, West Indies are going to have to go some because England have posted 400. Now, we're all blue for Bob today, raising money for the Bob Willis Fund to try to help fight prostate cancer. Now, men aren't very good at talking about illness, particularly perhaps about things like prostate cancer. So for now, well, it's time to talk.
Well. 3 gentlemen with, but soon possibly without, prostates. So yeah, I had a test, as I often do. You know what it's like in television. Every time you do it, you're going to be insured in case you get ill, so you have to see a doctor. And the doctor takes your blood, and this doctor, for some reason, took my PSA.
And how old were you?
Blimey, let me see, it was about just 58, 9?
Right.
Something like that. So just getting to the age where it's, but older than you.
Yeah, no, because
Yeah.
I asked to have a test. I went to have, I was about only 50, 55 now, and I went to have the usual, the NHS annual thing where they just do blood pressure and then and cholesterol.
Yeah.
And I said, could you check my PSA? And my GP he's a wonderful man. He was a sort of aghast. Why? Do you think you've got symptoms? I went, no. Why? You're only 50. I said, yeah, but I know I'm allowed to ask now. He said, well, all right, if you really want.
Yeah.
So, and you do have to ask.
And were you symptomatic?
Well, both my parents died of cancer, so I went every 6 months to check my blood.
You did anyway.
And then when my PSA was raised, that was when I went on my journey. If people were told to go and get screened at the age of 45, I think the recommendation is if you're a black man or you have, cancer in the family.
People of African origin are twice as likely to get it.
Yeah. I don't think it should be up to the patient to go in and ask for something from the doctor. Even though the PSA, as we know, is inaccurate, the tests are getting better and better.
I think we've come a long way with cancer. There's a stigma attached to it once upon a time. When I wrote about it, anyone who'd had cancer in their life or recovered from it, as so many people have, they would email, great story, that was, I'm sorry you're going through this, but lovely to read about it and best of luck. People who hadn't had cancer in their life, oh my God, I can't, it's a tragedy, just another illness. It needs the gallows humour that men who go to sport are so good at.
Well, that's one of the great things about the Bob Willis Fund is, of course, every year it speaks to cricket fans in Birmingham in particular.
Yeah.
There they are at Edgbaston, but everybody watching around Britain and the world sees that through sport, It's a very good way of getting at the kind of men who are perhaps the most likely to be a little embarrassed.
And if Bob had been screened, the outcome would have been different.
At least what we have now in his memory is something really solid.
Everyone who gets prostate cancer should talk about it to their friends and to their families and encourage people that if you catch this early, this is not a problem. And we're all lucky. We're all sitting telling our stories of what happened to us. And
I knew what happened to Stephen.
Yeah.
Well, the poster boy for the tragic part of my anatomy. I thought, well, I don't want that, but I knew about it. There's a dialogue amongst certain kinds of men.
Yeah.
We live in a world where we know that information is everything.
Yeah.
And it's never good to be ignorant. It's never good to not know.
All we can say to men who might have that approach now is you will find out and it won't be nice. And so it's much better to get tested. There's 10,000 men every year are unlucky enough not to be diagnosed and end up the cancer spreads from their prostate into other parts of their body and they have every chance of dying.
It's worth remembering that, whenever we talk about anything like this, that what happens to us is the most primitive it's going to be at that time. And in 10 years' time, the testing and other things will be very different, I suspect. There are new tests that are easier and more accurate.
This is all going in front of a screening committee now, which is the body which decides who gets screened.
And is there pressure we can put on this screening committee before they read? Can we write to them, or should we?
Well, we are putting a big campaign together at the moment. Bob's Fund is helping us very much on this through PCR, which is prostate cancer research, and trying to get the screening committee to make the right decision at the end of the year, which will be screening for every man. And as much pressure put on them is only going to help.
Excellent. Well, my MP is having a quiet year, so I will send him.
Trying to fight prostate cancer. If you can help and you'd like to donate, text 20, 30 or 40 to 7084. I've got two special guests to talk a bit about prostate cancer in cricket. Former Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, who's doing a lot of work to help fight prostate cancer, and cricket royalty. Sir Clive Lloyd, so nice to see you. How are you? Now you've just had your... Just pop your mic up for us. You just had your hip done, so you're not going to be parading round a backward point.
Well, I wouldn't be running, that's
What have you made of the cricket we've just seen?
Excellent, really. I wouldn't like to be the captain who put them in. I think I'll have a lot to answer for. But it's great atmosphere. I love this ground. And I nearly played for Warwickshire.
How did that come about?
I used to play for Derek Robin and used to do fairly well, and he wanted me to come here. But we had Kanai, we had Gibbs, we had Kali Churan, and I said there are too many Guyanese here, so I moved back to Lancashire, and I thought I made the right decision.
Well, I think you probably did make the right decision. Now you're happy because England are doing all right, and your RCB are doing okay.
Yeah, it's been a great afternoon of cricket so far. I've been teasing Sir Clive, so we've been having a good time, and you're right. I've been having half an eye on the IPL score because RCB are my team, making great progress towards the finals. So actually these last two that we're in have just come back from the IPL.
That's right.
Which is probably why they're batting so well at the end, smashing it around, getting us to 400. But it's been a good afternoon, hasn't it, Clive?
It has been.
We've been enjoying it. But
we're
we've
not
all
done
been
yet.
puzzled about the decision putting England in. Yeah, we're trying to figure that out.
I don't know who made that decision, but
Well, the captain did.
well, I suppose they have a manager too.
Well, they do. You'd never listen to your manager though when you were listening to captain. You
some of
grow
them,
your own.
Some of them.
I know. I've been actually hearing all of Clive's stories about all his management skills, and we've been waiting for this to come on. So probably best not repeated actually here.
We'll come back to the cricket if I may, but we're here for Blue for Bob. Now, just explain what your relationship is trying to fight this horrendous illness, this disease, I should say.
Well, it's, one of the things I'm now doing is become an ambassador for prostate cancer research with one of the UK's leading. cancer charities. You were just hearing from Nick, I think, earlier in this segment. And look, prostate cancer is one of the UK's most common cancers, affects 1 in 8 men. And what we're trying to do is raise awareness, because if you catch prostate cancer early, we now can treat you and save your life. The problem is it doesn't have symptoms, and if we catch it late, then people are going to needlessly die, and 12,000 people die a year. So I'm helping to raise awareness, get more money into research, but also, crucially, campaign for a national screening program. And like the Bob Willis Fund that's also raising money, other people are raising awareness. If we had a national screening program so that men were told to come forward, that would be far better. Because I think, we were talking about it before, Clive, weren't we? Men aren't really the best at asking for help, and we need to go to them and say, look, you need to get this thing done.
And unfairly, it affects black people more.
Yes, and that is why. Well, I've got involved too. I lost a lot of my friends at home, and in Trinidad especially, a lot of the men are just dying needlessly. And the point is that we're trying to get a foundation here, and it would help the people in the Caribbean. And our slogan is the great catch, catching it early.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's picking up, and we're hoping that we'll get things started rather soon.
Absolutely. Now, when you were bowling there, sorry to interrupt. Yeah. When we were bowling there, we had someone in the commentary box keeping a close eye on your action. A certain S. Broady. What did you see?
Yeah, lacking a bit of pace, if I'm brutally honest. We've got to load up outside with his front arm. A bit like Bob Willis used to do outside of his eye line. The facials are smiling and happy and enjoying it. A decent follow through. Quite an aggressive follow through. It feels like he feels like he's bowled a Jaffa there and he's staring the batter down. But work to do, Rishi.
He says you got work to do, but that was all he would say.
If he's offering to come and do a with me, I'll take him up on it.
He charges. He's a bit like saying he charges. But gentlemen, it's been great to see you. Thank you very much indeed. Great to see you supply. Thanks for all your work. West Indies got to go, son. They need 401 to win here in Birmingham.
second innings made up by participants from the ACE program. We saw them on the outfield during the interval. ACE program making up a guard of honor, on-field umpires.
In the stadium today, 2,000 men will get prostate cancer in their lifetime.
Well, a little over £70,000 has been raised for the Bob Willis Fund today to raise awareness and fund research into prostate cancer. So we thank you very much for your generosity, and please keep it coming if you can. It's for a very good cause. Stuart Broad was being very gentle and kind about the former Prime Minister's bowling action, I thought, in the break. He's clearly looking to join Jimmy Anderson as the latest cricketing night. Anyway, second half of this game, West Indies have got some going to get to this target. It's 400 they've got to chase. Only one other side in the history of ODI cricket has chased more than 400.
Victory target for
That was a very famous game back in 2006 in Johannesburg, where conditions were absolutely perfect for a high-scoring game. England have shown this to be a very good pitch as well, but whether the West Indies have it in them to chase this many remains to be seen. They're going to have to break their own record for a high-run chase if they get there. Without Evan Lewis, who was injured today, so Justin Graves has joined Brandon King at the top of the order. It looks like Saqib Mahmood will get things underway. And Owen Morgan, there was just an echo there, wasn't there, of in England's total of the kind of reset that your team had shortly after the 2015 World Cup when you racked up 408.
Yeah, afternoon, Michael. Afternoon, everyone. Yeah, there certainly was. I think the energy within England's batting certainly reminded me of that day back in 2015, and considering some of the ages of that England team, bright futures ahead. The very beginning of Harry Brook's journey, exciting start.
Yeah, runs for Harry Brook, which was a good thing in his first game as permanent captain of this white ball side, and then a wonderful inning from Jacob Bethel. Just when England had lost a couple of wickets, but batsmen having been set, they needed to just almost reset in the middle of the innings and then power towards the close, and Bethel did that quite brilliantly. Now Saqib Mahmood likes it. There's a double appeal because it's ended up in the hands of Gully as well. Bethel has taken a good catch diving forward, but not sure umpire Saggers is that interested.
No, Harry Brook. Definitely a little bit on offer with the new ball. Saqib Mahmood and co can get it right. Good line, a good length. The ball will move around off the seam. It's bowling from the pavilion end. Wind moving from left to right.